and welcome to Visual Recreation, the essential video guide to winning FML each and every week. I'm your local Christmas gift, Drew.
And I'm Joey, the strategy
You're
guy.
welcome.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, everyone. It's a Merry Christmas indeed, because there's a ton of new movies that are premiering and expanding this weekend. So let's waste no time and jump into the new movies. In a world of Bond and Widow, we are getting a spy movie like never before. It involves Will Smith and a pigeon. Yes, that's right. Spies in Disguise is the movie I'm talking about, and it stars Will Smith, Tom Holland, and Reba McEntire, just to name a few. Now, this was co-written by Brad Copeland, who gave us movies that we love like Ferdinand and Yogi Bear.
Oh, loved is a strong word. We're talking about those two movies, but let's go on to Pro Box Office's long-range forecast for this movie, which its long-range forecast is $13 million, which is a 19% decrease from last week's projections. That means it's not moving in the right direction. It has an opening weekend range of around $11 to $16 million. Just a few more things about this movie. It's rated PG, and early reviews have it at a 76% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's not too bad.
That's pretty good.
When looking at comps, Joey mentioned it. We looked at Ferdinand, which opened mid-December of 2017 and it got around $13 million in over 3,600 theaters. We also used that comp because that came out around the same time as Star Wars The Last Jedi, and this one's coming out the second weekend, or like halfway through the still opening week of Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, so we thought it would be a good one to use it. Another fun fact, another movie premiering this Christmas Day is Little Women, or in Spanish, it's Mujer Pequeña.
Is it?
Little Women is based off of the classic novel of the same name, where the March sisters are determined to live their own life on their own terms, no matter what. However, this one is derived from the classic novel, like I said. However, Greta expounds on it using other classic writings and her mind. Now, Little Women stars Florence Pugh, Saoirse Ronan, Emma Watson, and Timothée Chalamet. And it was written and directed by Greta Gerwig, who gave us Lady Bird, or in Spanish, it's Dama Paraja.
Yeah, you sure? All right.
I hope so. If
Spanish.
If Google Translate is correct, then yes.
All right, well, Pro Box Office has the long-range forecast of this movie at around $23 million, and that stayed the same from last week. Now, the opening range for this movie is anywhere between $17 million to $25 million. Now, it's rated PG, and it has a Rotten Tomatoes score of 95%, which is really good. It has a lot of award buzz around it, so... Yes. Now, when looking at comps, we looked at Life of Pi, which premiered late November in 2012, and it opened with $22 million in over 2,900 theaters.
Yes,
so.
And that one had some award buzz to it, too.
Yeah.
It was actually a really good movie.
It is a really good movie. I enjoyed that one. Now, the last movie that we're talking about is expanding this weekend, and it's called Uncut Gems.
Oh,
Yes.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, this is an electrifying crime thriller centered around a jeweler who's trying to get the next big score.
Ooh,
So,
I'm
yeah.
going to get the money. Ooh, yeah.
That's right, it is an Adam Sandler movie, but I think it's a much more serious role. This movie stars Adam Sandler, Lakeith Stanfield, and Kevin Garnett, just to name a few.
That's not bad right there. Now, long range forecast, Pro Box Office has this at around $5 million with an opening range of $3 to $8 million. It's rated R. It has a great Rotten Tomatoes score at around 93%. And it has a great audience score around 86%. Both of those have over 100 reviews on either side, so that's fantastic. When looking at, especially an Adam Sandler film. It's also rated R. It's a A24 film. It's 2 hours long. Also, if you thought that we already talked about this movie, we kind of did last weekend. This one opened up actually 2 weeks ago. In 5 theaters, it opened to over $500,000, $550,000, which is fantastic.
That's really good for 5 theaters.
Now, it's opening wide, which could be around 600 plus, so 600 to like maybe 1,200. It has some award buzz. Everybody's raving about Adam Sandler's performance. So just take a look at that movie, because it could do some some damage. Maybe it's a gem in the rough, Joey. But now let's go into spying on our movies on our movie radar, or our MODAR.
Welcome to the MODAR. And first off, taking a look at these 3 new movies that are premiering that we're talking about: Uncut Gems, Little Woman, and The Spy in Disguise. I'm not so sure about the Spy in Disguise movie. I mean, I love animated films, but a spy who becomes a pigeon, and it just looks a little weird to me. I don't know. I mean,
just a little bit.
Just a little bit. I don't think it's gonna perform well in its opening weekend. Then you got Little Women that it's gonna do really well, and then Uncut Gems coming up. This is the time that we're gonna see all these award talk movies either make something for your Cineplex or break something in your Cineplex.
I agree with you. Spies in Disguise. Actually, I'm very nervous of that one. Long range forecast going downhill, and there's a ton of competition for family and kids movies. You got Frozen still out there doing Frozen things. You have Jumanji. You got Star Wars. I'm not a huge fan of Spies in Disguise. I could definitely see this one making like $10 million, but its floor is really nervous for me.
Yeah.
Little Women, great. I think it's great counter-programming to Star Wars, to everything else that's out there. Also, it's a great awards movie, I think. And then Uncut Gems, we're going to be able to track this thing down. It's now going to expand more, so the PTA is going to go down, but you're just going to have to figure all those little things out. Also, with that being the case, Clark does not want to stand up.
He doesn't want to stand
He
up.
had too much eggnog.
Yeah.
Another thing is that there's more movies that are coming out this week/weekend, but in a more limited capacity. We have 1917 coming out limited with Just Mercy. Those both go wide later in January of 2020. And then you have Clemency coming out this weekend in a limited capacity. All those have fantastic Rotten Tomato scores, and all of those have award buzz to them.
With some of these movies testing the waters and then expanding a little bit slower, you will be able to kind of get a sense of what they're going to do. You can track them, but yeah, it's award season. There's going to be, like I said earlier, there's going to be award movies that multiple ones have really good buzz behind it. There's going to be some that make or break your Cineplex.
That's right, and just like you said about tracking, this one is almost like Thanksgiving week, except even more tracking because everything's coming out like Tuesday, Christmas Eve. So these movies are going to be coming out way early, and then we're going to be able to just track them throughout the week, and hopefully we'll have some idea of what could happen. A lot of good hold because schools are going to be out, and it's going to be, it could be easy, but it probably won't be because it's never easy.
No, it never is. But good luck this week on your fantasy movie selections. Thank you for watching this video. We'll see you in the next one. And remember,
sometimes you gotta risk it to get that biscuit. That Christmas biscuit. Oh, yummy. Mr. Scrooge. I love it. I love it.